Yeah, I think Vi, another pick that we oftentimes see banned away on that red side, but I will be curious to see how the adaptations have come through for both these squads as we start to continue forward throughout this. Maokai banned every game against Pain Gaming. You see the Jax was banned consistently away from Nanoe as well, one of his big picks. Will that be respected as we come into game number 1?
I just love that the second ban is towards Cutty as well. You know, coming into this tournament, I thought Cutty has a really good meta. Syndra, Ori, Ryze, those are his historics most played. And 2 have already been taken off, opening up this draft as the first 2 bans.
Yeah, Syndra, Ori, I mean, strong, staple, easy mid laners.
Also true.
Also one that potentially sets up for Dinkato to go back towards something like the Yone that we saw him play previously. But in my eyes are fully on Cheaton on that bottom side. He looked insane over the course of several of his games. Really is a force to be reckoned with. Even when he came into the roster, this was the guy adding with Curry that they expected to push this team forward as the MSI representative for the CB LoL. Weren't quite able to make it happen at that stage, but now representing the CB LoL on this world stage, he would love to be able to step up for his region once more.
There's so many fun stories. We're going to yap your ears off at home and let you know. I mean, again, the history's there. Now, Jax, Yone, both again, strong solo lane bans. Skarner left open for once and straight away slammed by PNG.
Yeah, Skarner is incredibly strong at the moment. He's very good as a front line. He's able to set up a lot of plays. Great if you try and have these dive compositions as well, because he can buy so much space for your backline. So I think he's just by far and away the strongest jungler, at least that we're seeing in play-ins. We'll have to see if that continues towards the main stage. This is interesting though, because we did see R7 kind of falling back towards this with Audi going towards the brand. Did not work out for them game number 1. So I'm kind of surprised that we're getting both these picks this early, because this is not the priority that I would have put into this.
You remember Audi picked this up, or Odie, excuse me, Odie picked this up before, and we were like, well, Brand doesn't feel as quick as clearing. I know it's something you raised, Dagda, on broadcast, but with the misfortune as well, 2 champions that have been gutted a little bit, but still see their passage of play. Now for the other side, PNG, a strong 2v2 lane. When you brought in Cheaton and Curry for this year, maybe they look to dominate bot here and put their stars back up.
Do you end up just immediately taking the rel now for Curry to say, hey, we want this incredibly strong bot lane that we can look to play around, set up, and then try and push something like an Alistar pick on the other side, or something that at least try and play into that rel? Or what is going to be the pickup here for Curry? I think if you're going to pick Kalista, you need to have a strong engaged support beside her, but we'll have to see. Like, there are still options available. You just be worried about, you know, twice the bans going in on the opposite side and then them taking one. But Nico for Dinkato.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, first time we've seen this in the tournament. I'm just glancing my eyes.
Yeah, first time.
And this is still technically a triple flex, because it can go top into things like Renekton. It's been seen mid. It can also go support and sync up with the Kalista. While Leona comes on the other side, we've got a big question to rate that PNG can play around with this third pick on blue side and keep VKE, excuse me, guessing a little bit.
Yeah, I know, but the reason we saw Nico kind of drift away from that mid lane champion pool was just because she wasn't the strongest when it came to getting pushed and then being able to set up in that regard. Maybe with the changes we see coming in, she started to come back in a little bit stronger, but this to me could also be the triple flex. But into Leona, I also don't think it's amazing.
Good point.
Unless Curry's cooking something.
Well, I like the word cooking, Dagda, and again, if you take the eye away from Pain, you get Pan, and Pans are good for cooking with. Now, Aurora, taken away. No, I'm not letting you respond to that. Renekton's the ban on the other side, so maybe it's not going to be into top after all.
So I'm just having a quick look at Dinkato's match history. He has not been playing the Nico, so I'd be very surprised if it's going towards him. Could end up being in that support role, as we're saying, but we'll have to figure it out. As I say, Renekton, Aurora going to be taken off the board as well. This is basically saying to me that Nico is going bot side, because Nico's actually a pretty good matchup into the Renekton.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's so annoying.
So I think what we're looking at is a potential Cassante coming through for one of these squads, especially with the Gnar and the Renekton coming through. Could be going towards Nanoe in that top side if they really want to, but I think basically that's what we're trying to set up here, is some sort of blind in that regard.
I mean, Wiser so far, it's been the Jax, the Rumble, the Gnar so far in this tournament, but you just can't go past the Cassante. Another nice hover, they ban it instead. So variables thrown up into the top lane as Nanoe doesn't have that soft top lane to rest on here. We have seen this from the PCS region, but the Udi are getting locked in here again.
Yeah, it looks like the preference is on getting Cassie a guaranteed good matchup in the mid lane. They're unsure exactly as to where that Nico is in the same vein we are. So just saying, look, we don't want to full commit to a Nico counter until we figure out exactly where this pick is going. Udyr, just strong blind, you're not really going to have too many issues with it. So regardless of what ends up happening, you should be okay. And even the fact that you have the reduction on the E, or sorry, the reduction on the CC from the E could work out, but Rumble going to be the case. So looks like it may be just an all-out party on the Wombo combo here for Pain Gaming.
Nice pun. Casante's up in the game. Otherwise, Dagda, that would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. At the very least, you're right. It's the all-in committal. We see the Tristana locked in again. The Nico, as you confirmed earlier on, Dags, is going to be down on the bottom side in the 2v2. Again, seeing Tristana in this tournament, a little bit surprising. No way. After everything, are we just going to get Tristana, Corky? We've done a full circle, and you'd hope that Carti has a little bit more. Now, the Smolder hasn't been seen as much in this tournament so far, but it is still something people say is strong.
Yeah, I think it's something because it didn't really get hit by a lot of the system changes that we saw for other champions, right? So it will be the Smolder, and I do like this. Tristana got hit by the fleet footwork, so she isn't as controlling in that mid lane. Whereas for Smolder, he's kind of just fine to farm it on out. He's going to end up going for Triforce. A lot of his, like, Blade of the Rune King didn't get hit, which did for Tristana. Like, these items that the Tristana build aren't the same for Smolder. So in this position, I think you're in a relatively good spot. The only thing that does concern me is, you know, lack of control with the MF, Brand not looking as strong as he is, and the pure wombo that is on Pain Gaming side. If Viking Esports mess up even a little bit, it's lights out for them.
It's the thing that Rumble's always good at punishing, isn't it? He can still snowball, he can still skirmish so early on with that equalizer. I'm getting excited, Dagda, because we have a change about the bot side as well. Remembering how Chitan and Curry, you were mentioning the story coming in. This was not I would say a risk when he has so much tenure behind him, but again, a change of style here for Pain to try and make this moment, and made it they have now. They have to put up or shut up, as this is their last chance.
Yeah, Chitan and Curry were the pickup, like the best bot lane in the CB LoL, and two guys that could pop the hell off. So adding them to this lineup kind of felt like the last missing piece, but didn't come together for MSI. But now on the world stage, with a bot lane that is very, very volatile, I'm expecting a huge amount of pressure to come down from Karaoke just to try and get this Kalista ahead and let Karaoke then help out in carrying this game. Even when you look at the combo between like Nico getting tossed in with a Kalista, or even Pop Blossom into getting pulled to safety, this is where a lot of this Pain Gaming game plan is coming from.
Well, we're here. It's elimination day. One best of three left in one of these teams for VKE. Remember, a lot of people said they've got three of the best players in the VCS right now. Kati, Shogun, Bier. They've been players you've seen on the stage before, but the fact they're on a new roster, people thought, okay, the dynamic is going to be enough to get them as first seed, but GAM held merit. They smashed them in finals. They beat them only just 3-2 in the upper brackets as well. VKE had to claw tooth and nail to get here. As you can see, global power rankings powered by AWS. I'm sure VKE would have been much higher on the scale, but they're close to PNG, Pain Gaming, who haven't been to an international in so long, since 2021 MSI Dagda. They haven't been at Worlds for 9 years. 2015 Worlds was the last time we saw Pain on the big stage.
Yeah, and I think a huge amount of that was the tossing and turving, as we talked about with the roster, the fact that you had like even Dinkato swapping out for Tin Owns and then trying to find his success on this roster as Tin Owns left him. They basically swapped between Loud and Pain Gaming as well, so getting Dinkato in here, beating Tin Owns finally to get his first one, but Shogun and BA trying to get in onto Wiser here.
If you can't beat him, join him, Dagda. Okay, let's go for a lane swap and see how we can run it here with Shogun and BA. As this star 80 carry on the top side of the map looks to force out, get a bit of information on blue buff. On response, you see Curry just runs into blue, but Curry has himself a smite, gets it, and Nanoe is just going to try and help him push through this. As again, our star 80 carries in our Mercedes-Benz featured matchup. Running into this game one.
Feels a little bit sad that our Mercedes-Benz feature matchup are now on opposite sides of the ring. But this is definitely the two to watch. I think when we look towards Chitan, he was fantastic on things like the Lucian in his series. It was just unfortunate that they weren't quite able to get themselves up and running in some of these early skirmishes, but he was a force to be reckoned with Curry. And on the upside, Shogun and BA had a phenomenal time, even getting some 2v2 kills in that bottom lane. So I was hoping we'd get these two matching up against each other, but not going to be the case thus far.
And I know a lot of lane swaps these days are about more than just avoiding the 2v2, right? About influencing mid, impacting what happens in top lane in the 1v1. This one feels like a bit more old school, where for Pain Gaming, they're not only happy to get plates here, but VKE are like, we don't want to touch this Kalista Nico, considering how potent this 2v2 is in its inherent form.
I think the only sad part is that for Guri, because you end up clearing from your bot up to top to then meet with the split map, you don't actually get your Gromp on the bottom side, whereas when you look at Karaoke now, he gets to clear his entire bot side, can even move in onto the opposite, steal away that Gromp as well, and just end up with a camp advantage if he's able to spot it out. At the moment, several members going up towards this top side, just trying to see if they can get a plate, but that was kind of the nerf that came through. You will just continuously take very quick plates on this bottom side.
Yep.
And now we're starting to see BA moving down here, trying to defend a potential jungle invade, but I think he just got spotted by one of the Callista ghosts there as well.
And Guri's going to get spotted again as Wiser moves up. Remember, he got level 2 off the mid wave, so even though the combo comes through, you can see that Wiser doesn't really care too much. Guri moves back here with double buffs and gets forced away while the support roam from BA might find Guri, but he doesn't care either. Tangle Barbs, max range, Dinkieto will just continue farming away.
Yeah, you just got to be careful where Guri is, because you see he's about to finish up here, so BA going to try and wrap through onto this mid lane, catch people out, but I think the respect is coming through from PN Gaming on the mid wave.
Well, as Wiser moves up, CS going to start brewing for top lane. As you look at bot and you see that only one plate for all that trading as well. I'm just trying to look towards top. Still 5 there as Shogun versus Chitan. Pops off a little bit. Chitan has a level lead thanks to the fact he has now been solo farming for a little bit.
Yeah, can also chase him down. Look at where PN Gaming are.
The boys, there's a flash. You're right, Dagger. It's matched by Shogun, but in for a penny, in for a pound. Shogun close to dropping to the ground. The rock out of range. A Zenith Blade is good as well as Guri looks for the passive. Set ablaze is the jungler of PNG, but in pain, no. Running away, yes. Guri Tangle Barb. Guri almost in. Close. A blossom down as well as he escapes. That was so close, but no one dies.
I thought BA was going to go in and just get a triple kill. Everyone is so low on PN Gaming, but my word, that was close. The barrier clutch from Shogun, even a potential double up here, could take down someone here on this health, even Curry, but not going to be able to connect. PN Gaming want to try and clear it this wave. You could even look at where Dinkieto was. He was considering a roam down to this bottom side.
Now, Dagger, what I've learned is Guri versus Guri is going to be a lot harder than I initially thought. But the second part is that all the flashes were burnt in that trade too. The only one left up is Guri on that brand jungle. So small advantage here, if you want to call it that, as PNG still haven't backed away in this bottom side, all things considered, while Shogun has done exactly that.
I think that makes things significantly more interesting now for a potential group fight, because not having those summoner spells available, Guri at least still has his, but if you're looking at Karaoke potentially coming in from a flank, Wiser hitting that level 6, if you're Shogun, you are now the target, and there's a lot that can be coming your direction as well. So I think in this case, the Vikings maybe want to take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit and try and play for a dragon trade on those grubs instead.
Well, the slower the game goes, the more the Smolder will be happy, I guess, as well. As you said, grubs a priority, 15 seconds until they spawn. Wiser's got teleport, so he might be teleporting up here to react to this bounce wave. Remember that Nanoe has his available while Guri starts roaming top himself.
Curry's a minion, though. Is Nanoe spotting this? He doesn't spot us.
Not. Tangle Barbs and Karaoke is here. What do you say in response? Nanoe's running for his life. Ghost is there, and the power of Udyr as a spear is not mortal enough on the damage.
Still, though, you've got Guri and start trying to get one of these grubs just as a sneak away, but PN Gaming starting to come across now. This is going to be careful. Dinkieto's about to clear out the wave in mid, and he's level 6, but you got one Guri. Just be happy that you got that.
Yep. He's going to run out of rage anyway, rather from the minions to temper down, and as it resets, PNG standing their ground. We're looking for those rotations now. Shogun's moving on up, and that misfortune is going to bring a small dragon with him as well. So Guri's like, I can start this again. Wow. And Brand is just so good at clearing this. Quick, smart.
Yeah, the TP from Nanoe back up into that top lane, and then the roam from Shogun made that a little bit dicey, but you can still see the damage is done right when you look at the CS. Wiser, 34. When you look across the Vikings, not looking so hot for Nanoe. So that's kind of the trade-off that you get in this situation where you're trying to move him around as much as possible to keep the Void Grubs there. It's only a 2-for-1 at the end of the day, so both squads can still get that buff.
Dragon's still sitting there and waiting up, and our Ocean fans that were watching our Analyst Death segment probably upset it's not going to be a soul, but at least they get one for the board. But for now, a ward is dropped by Guri. They know what's going on here, so Dragon sits there and waits.
And that's where I think the focus is. Because you only have the MF down here, Wiser gets to create this slow push in the bottom side. He's going to be fine. He resets, he moves back up top. You've got Chitan and Curry who are now able to move into that bot side and should be able to get push as well. And you've still got that teleport available for Visor, but they look like they want to try and cheat this. Just try and look for the play off the back of it. But yeah, I think Visor just going to use that teleport advantage now to help PN Gaming set up this dragon, then reset himself and catch that wave in top.
Also with the fact that Dinkieto goes back and gets Retrix, maybe a bit more damage as well than they bargained for. So PNG take successfully, and All that's going to cost is a plate in the top side. Well, Guri is on a ward.
Yeah, I think Vise are on a ward as well as the issue, because it means that you're able to keep pushing in top.
Oh, he tried to predict that he's walking down. Guri, yeah, a mode on him. Fair call.
It's crazy. I didn't know Weiser was a C.S. Lewis fan.
I laughed at it, but I'm not sure I get it. I know the line, The Witch of the Wardrobe. What else?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you just laugh and you smile and wave. Okay.
But yeah, I think the big one here is the fact that you now invested that TP late to get to the play, and you lost the plates on top. I actually kind of like half favor Vikings in the trade. And one Ocean Dragon not going to be the end of the day, but some extra gold onto the Udyr, the quicker setup for things like this Negatron cloak now, make this lane matchup incredibly easy for Nanoe, where he gets to keep pushing the wave. And this is why we originally saw this Udyr come out as a big...
Mom?
He's fine.
To the side, yep. Magician's nephew is a question mark I have for you there. No, not hitting it. I'll try again a little bit later.
It was just Narnia, mate.
Okay, the basic one. I tried to read into it too much.
But yeah, I think the fact that now... So Rumble always struggled into the Udyr matchup. Is why we saw him come out. The Negatron cloak was kind of the key break point for a lot of that matchup. It's why we'd even look at like an early no magic, where you try and push and crash third wave into cheat fourth and then get your no magic on the reset. But Nanoe sets up fine now, so Weiser not going to push in top side.
Nice.
Dinkedo struggling a little bit against the Smolder in the mid now, and we've seen that bot side is very vulnerable. So I think now Vikings should be able to play off these top wave scenarios and make the game a little bit easier for themselves.
Especially since, as you mentioned, Dinkedo, I mean, a minute till those grubs actually spawn, and with that reset cancel, he's got to sit here for the wave. We'll have to back away, and we look at top again, onto the Udyr. Will he be able to run for his life? No Ghost of Elwar, but an Impale this time says you're going nowhere. First blood over to Pain is great for Weiser.
Nice, the job. As you just said, the struggle in this matchup was real for Rumble. Getting something back from him is going to be great. Might even be able to play it for himself, because look where Shogun is. They're reset, and moving him up towards this top half of the map as well. But I think...
Center plate.
Oh, no.
Tangle buffs. He's out. Buffet.
But yeah, I think at this position, Vikings are actually in a better spot now to look for a potential 5 grub take. You see Guri even stealing away a camp. Shogun now going to push out this wave. Doesn't have the ult available. Looks like he used that on the bot wave. So maybe Vikings are a little nervous just with the lack of ultimates.
Maybe. It's good ward there, spotting that everyone from Pain are moving into position now. I feel like the Pain fans are out in force here today as well. Support could not be louder as they move into position. Now the Rumble moving up. Dagda already mentioned to you all at home that Nanoe is bot committing for the plate here, while VKE are getting threatened off a bit. What do we have down?
Vikings are just trying to buy time here. Not only are you getting that plate on the bottom side, but you're buying time for Shogun's ultimate to come back up.
True.
Level 6 just hit for BA off the back of that mid wave as well. So if they can take this slow, they are winning out on the map state right now. And Dinkedo has the TP available, so not quite available anyway. So taking this slow for Vikings works out in their favor.
I want to raise, yeah, again, not only just the TP, but waiting for the mum ult that has now come up as well. And there's small things that for VKE, Dagdy hit the nail when slow pace is there. It works out well. Now Karaoke's going to start this, and he's got good AoE, but you can see movement is coming in from VKE. I don't think it's going to be as easy as we think.
Now ultimate is now up and available for Shogun. No TP for Nanoe though, so it's going to be at least a 4v4 potential for Dinkedo to come through as well, but I think they're gone. They're a little bit slow. Maybe try to catch Weiser as they move across, but Guri's now spotted.
We just highlighted the pace being good, but too slow is definitely real as 3 grubs matched out. 4 for Pain in the end, because remember they got 1 before, so that's a big take right under the nose of VKE, who we thought, yeah, playing this so well.
I think it was just trying to buy time for a lot of these summoner spells and ults to come back off go down, but unfortunately they were just that little bit too late and weren't in a position to really contest. So I think there was a world where we could have saw Guri trying potentially move down to make a play on towards Dinkedo, who's left on the bot side, but they end up trying to match and it just doesn't work out in their favor.
20 CS lead for top, you take stock. For Pain getting that relatively moderate-sized win, they're also on the verge of getting their first items, maybe before the dragon spawns. Dagda also keeping those TPs for people like Dinkedo, who just picked up himself a Kraken Slayer. It's very good news if this fight takes hold.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Cheetan talked to Sheep Esports, and he was saying, look, one of the big things the Pain Gaming wanted to focus on was this objective control, and you can see it now, right? The early Void Grubs takes, the Dragon takes, and now the nice reset into the potential Dragon. Pain Gaming definitely learning from what happened against PSG Talon and trying to now fight back against Vikings.
Even the small trades brew attention. I love it. It's great to see, people from all cultures coming to the Berlin studio, and It's been exciting, especially when you hear the might of the Brazil fans, especially watching back finals as well. Now, into the moment itself, Chitan is going to get this wave pushed. You look towards Dragon, second Dragon it would be for Pain as well, as VKE have moved into position, and now these supports have their ultimates, where in previous fights they were so far behind in experience, they couldn't contribute theirs.
Pain Gaming don't really have control of the map right now, though. Push on boss coming through for Vikings, which is why they're operating in River with such confidence. Chitan forced to back away. Keep your eyes on Karaoke. What can he do here if Guri steps forward?
All it takes is a Pop Blossom to disguise yourself as a minion, a ward even. And Curry has many different angles of attack. The pings are going down, bot is just being matched for now, and mid continuously is Chitan just pulling it up as top laners fight it out, or rather solo laners do for the time being. Jinkiero has that TP to move down, but Nanoe does now too.
A lot of still control here for Vikings, though. Why is there not really able to push in against Shogun? Nanoe.
Good damage.
Oof, taking a lot of damage. And now you're in a difficult spot here, because what do you do as Nanoe? Do you TP back top to try and protect your top lane turret against this Tristana, or do you have to try and TP into the fight? So I think this is why, again, Pain Gaming taking a second to get waves in order. Yeah, Nanoe, you can't stick around it. This tower's going to fall. He needs some sort of help. You look at where BA is. He's laid on the map. So Vikings are going to give Dragon and potentially a ton of damage on this top tower.
I mean, look at this. Jinkiero gets 2 on the turret. Then he Kraken Slayers the Udyr as well, getting extra damage. Nanoe, as you said, has to be so damn careful. Next wave coming through, and it might spawns, of course, because they've got 4.
And this is one of the big struggles we saw from Vikings, both against MDK and also the reason that they end up falling down to GAM Esports. Just the missed macro, the opportunities to contest at objectives.
True.
And Pain Gaming are doing a great job of pulling them around the map, stretching them thin, and just finding those little bits of armor that they can poke themselves through.
I love the mention again, yeah. You kind of spread thin and you're like, what do we do? Do we answer this? Do we commit to the play? Like, that kind of decision making is what makes a next level team. I think GAM are very good at that actually as well. Yeah. Where they'll just sometimes overcommit, but you're like, hey, at least they're picking one side. But for now, as you see the MasterCard lane economy snapshot, I mean, top lane is a big issue here. Why is it level 11 with an equalizer? And Karaoke is nearby.
Nanoe, how are you going to get out of this one? Karaoke could slam against the wall. That's the TP.
They're all full committing, aren't they? But the wall slam ain't there. The impale out there. Carry is going to have to make it a little bit better as a full commit at least. Cleans up the play. There's faith in Dinkiero, at least, to make that trade.
Look, Nanoe may have died, but he made Pain Gaming look like fools before he went down. That was some very fancy footwork, but a nice call here from Pain Gaming. They're like, look, Rift Herald's up, but we can get bot tower here. Let's just try and get as fed as all hell Dinkiero, and then try and play through him on side lanes, because it's working out so well at the moment. But, I mean, look again. We're not even getting any sort of pressure on the cross map from Vikings. Yes, they got top tower, but no fallback to Rift Herald. Instead, they're so worried about a potential tier 2 take on the bottom half of the map with all those Pain Gaming members that they're now left, and Pain had a ward in the pit, so they know Rift Herald isn't taken, and they're just streamlining towards it.
So now my wonder is, do VKE go reset, we get the wave push out, and then head towards it themselves? They've got all ultis available. Dagda says nah.
It's no push in mid. Look at where Guri is as well. Like, they can try and contest this, but they're going to be very late. And even with the push on top, like, that could even just be another terror take. Yeah, they're sending Dinkiero up there. The map play is far superior from Pain Gaming right now.
Nanoe is not going to get the push in bot. Instead, after the wave, he's looking for a TP angle, it seems, as he backs off. And Dagda mentioned it perfectly. Top turret's going to be taken down. Again, the map play for Pain Gaming works out well, as forcing VKE away from this Herald ever so slowly gives them time to bring in this Tristana into the fray.
And Curry has that flash available, so could always look for some sort of play or even be sent in here with Chitan. So he's now playing, pretending to be the Rumble, seeing if he can put pressure onto folks.
And Dagda, it's also given time for Karaoke to get his ult back up and available too. Impale is there, Herald's going to drop one down, Nanoe is going to trade this for the bottom side turret, but when mid feels so important in opening up this game, Herald in the back pocket seems like a good task.
Plus, they've just traded top tower as well, so it's a tower for tower in the extended play, but you get that Rift Herald and the opportunity now to maybe pick Kati as well.
Not seen yet, not seen. Here comes the Skana, but flash away, okay. Dinkiero just jumps on in and Impale on the response. He wasn't expecting that one as the Dragon calls in Mum. There's minor healing, but is it enough? Dinkiero's damage, huge! Karaoke sacrifices his own life, but it's a shutdown onto Kati, which I didn't even know existed at those numbers. Big for the mid laner of Pain.
Yeah, the fact that Dinkiero is as large as he is right now is going to be a bit of an issue, but I mean, you look at the farming numbers there for Kati as well. he's no shrug, so you can see the turnaround play. Like, he has a 300 gold lead over Dinquieto, just the fact that he's been able to pick up a ton of these waves. And this Smolder, sitting on 160 stacks, starting to get places.
He is indeed. We'll look at the replay here after the trade, because this took a lot of commitment here from Pain Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, good flash from Kati, and then Karaoke just able to turn around with the flash impale. I thought Dinquieto might jump forward into the buster shot to try and get Kati even further away from the tower, but didn't want to end up underneath tower range, especially as you see, they don't know where BA is or where the Uder is either, so they're just going to wait. But it does mean that then Karaoke takes that step too far, and Kati happy that he gets that turnaround kill. Yeah,
absolutely. Again, Trinity Force was picked up before, but now with the full stacks here, I think from recent plays and more so heading towards that second item himself. The Smolder, as you said, is going to be an issue. I will say Dinquieto, he has now just picked up the Navori Quick Blade, so 2 item on Tristana, a lot of attack speed and a lot of good trading in this build, despite the fact he was 700 gold behind after the early laning phase.
Yeah, I think, though, this is where we need to see something get unleashed for VKE, because when you're looking at the map state, you've actually already got Weiser, who's pushing in on the bottom side of the map. Dinquieto has a ton of control here, and you're looking at the Dragon that's about to come up in just a minute's time as well. So when you've already got mid-push too, it becomes an easy manner for you to just take over. You just use the Rift Herald as you get Nanue and Kati trying to catch these side waves, crack up mid-turret, put more pressure on towards Vikings, and you can always fall back to Dragon as an afterthought.
Again, as Weiser already looks for that angle nice and early. Electro Harpoon just lets VKE know he's there. Shitana's going to look for this mid-push once again. And as they look for the pushes set in the pudding, as PNG for this third Dragon will be huge for the game. 3 seconds, it spawns, and here we go as PNG hold control of River again.
Yeah, Dinquieto gone for the reset. Just be able to pick up his boots and maybe a BF sword off the back of where he's been playing. So, I know, just a long sword. So he's going to be trying to TP back out onto the map, I believe, now for this. But you've got numbers advantage here. Nanue still pushing in the top side. He'll have to TP into this.
Kati has picked up the mirror mana from the last back. VKE start this Dragon off. And Guri's going to burn this down quite literally as Nanue is making the TP play. He comes from mid to look to run down as the Herald is there. The Pop Blossom from Guri layers them down. It's a bullet time to end worlds, though, as Nanue comes from the backside, cleans up one, now another. The damage was done by the VKE backline, but the Udi's ready to spike it down. Dinquieto gets spaced out, but 4 kills, and what looked beautiful from Curry was set on its head thanks to Shogun.
Yesterday was Gam time. Today is bullet time for Viking time. An incredible turnaround from Shogun. Sets up beautifully for the Dragon take and so much more for Vikings.
Even after getting nerfed, even after BT got nerfed and people like Misfortune's out, it amazes me some of the plays we've seen so far, this being the biggest one as we watch this set up again.
But it's Pain Gaming have given so much space over the Vikings, right? They're the ones that are actually able to control where they go. Curry gets a great ultimate, but watch Shogun's flash into them positioning for a perfect bullet time. The lockdown onto Weiser and also Curry, and Nanue just runs past Dinquieto to set up one as Cheaton's caught in the pit with nowhere to go.
Dinquieto, the only one to survive after that. Dragon stacking has been denied. There was no steal even to speak of. A 3k gold lead all of a sudden blooms out of thin air, and that is almost 4.5k damage worth of bullet time. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That explains the fight.
And this is why you can never count Vikings out. Just one team fight can always bring them back in. And it's the second Pain Gaming slip up just a little bit on the macro. Vikings just come so quickly back in, but we'll have to wait and see how they want to try and play this one out. Push at the moment still for Kati. Just desperately trying to get this Smolder up onto that 225 stacks.
Yep.
But Nanue has kind of forgone the bot lane, trying to see if he can sneak in for whoever's going to catch that mid wave that Shogun's pushing in.
For a pick, Solar Flare stops it though. Curry was slowed down. There's Blaze again. A light is impaled, doesn't connect. The second time we've seen in this game. Yeah, in the backline, set up for the ball done. Curry's caught. He has to flash away. That's Karaoke, who's now between a rock, a wall, and some kind of scorpion tail. Where can he go? Nowhere. Against the wall apparently is enough, but Kati flies over, takes a free stack, and VKE find it again.
It's a disaster for Pain Gaming. They get caught in their own jungle. Weiser tried to reset in time to pick up his Riftmaker before TPing in, but he TP'd so far away that it's still just a 4 versus 5 into a 3 versus 5, and now a potential Baron for Vikings.
Vikings Esports now set up in front of the Baron. The equalizer, a good turnabout, maybe stops it. Weiser's looking to keep it going as Jinkiero gets one. Okay, that's enough. PNG can't take this for themselves, though. No jungler, no smite.
There's a wave in mid lane for Pain Gaming as well, so that force off of Baron might turn into a pretty nice takeaway from them as well. Vikings just didn't want to commit to the turnaround and Pain Gaming punish.
It feels like it's Jinkiero versus VKE right now. This Kalista from Chitan, we've seen some moments, but like, Dagda, let's be real, there hasn't been this pop-off performance that we were hoping. We watched this again. This was pop-off from VKE to punish hard.
But again, like, look, there's the TP on the top side of the map here, just on to the back line to try and spot out. So this is not an even fight at all. Immediately, the Nico gets picked off. Karaoke is in complete, like, no man's land, and then the Rumble isn't involved in the fight either. So you burnt a lot to try and get that play, but at least you still get, you know, it was a 2 kills in the end of the day.
Yep.
You get 1 kill back, you deny Baron, and you get mid-tower, so it's not the worst for Pain Gaming. It's just the fact that that went so awry from the get-go.
And again, I still feel like there's a big fight coming too, because 2-item Kalista there, I talked about it before the replay. Chichan hasn't really popped up in this game much, right? It's been Jinkiero who has been the 4-0 Tristana, the almost 3-item Tristana that has been cleaning up the back of these fights, trying to get some of these trades.
Yeah, I mean, this game is always difficult for a Kalista against the bullet time, the ultimate from the brand as well. And now made a lot more difficulty with Max away.
Good timing, Dagda.
Yeah.
Very good timing. Clen's going to be burned from Chitan, and VKE are positioning to threaten this Baron again. But remember, Dragon is up in 50 seconds. That would be the third for Pain Gaming. So when we started this game, we're talking about the stacking, how they're playing the map. If they can move themselves closer to Soul Point, then there is also playing on their terms of the game that you have to consider.
Yeah, but the momentum shift in Hysterics. This is Vikings starting to take control of this game.
Yeah, right.
Yes, they are trying to get Jinkiero into a side lane to answer for it, but he's still behind in goal to Kati. Like, Kati's been doing a great job of catching waves, getting the farm when he needs to, and then transitioning that into kills in these fights. And when you've already just hit the 225 immediately for Kati, and you're about to finish off the rapid fire cannon, he's gonna be firing on all cylinders. I imagine, I thought they would try and give this wave to Kati, may still do, so he can pick up rapid fire on the way back, but he has to be so close to that item now.
I hate this champion. Oh man, that clear. Yeah, it's showing you. I mean, with the rapid fire cannon and TP, you're right, he can just pop on in whenever he wants as Kati for now sits on the edge, because you can see Pain Gaming start this off first. Nanoe is walking in, but it's already gone. Nice movement from Pain. They find it as Pierre flashes in though. There's a bullet time, but it's not as good as the last ones. Karaoke gets Nanoe as the Pop Blossom finds the other two. VKE is separated. It doesn't matter if the Smolder has an execute. He's dead. On the back end, Guri sent away. Weiser flashes into play, and now Shogun can't stay. VKE were torn apart limb from limb from limb, and Pain Gaming just said, yep, we'll take that.
The Vikings went in on 2 different ships, one blue west, one blue east, and one blue completely out of this world. It was just not the way it was supposed to go. Pain Gaming immediately catch Kati, turn that around. They got the dragon to boot, and now Guri hoping he can get to the pit, but it's going to be gone before he gets there.
It's going to have to be a miracle. You're right. Put some faster boots on. There's no way. Baron over to Pain Gaming. Doesn't that just sell you, Dagda? VKE, they had tempo, they had everything going for them. All of a sudden it flips. The game ain't over till it's over.
They had too much confidence. Kati going in with the flap, hoping that he'd be able to turn this fight around, but instead, look how quickly they get caught. Like, BA immediately goes onto Chitan, but the flash away at the last second means that you don't get the lockdown. Kati's now in a horrible position, and the Curry with a great flash onto him.
Wow.
Everyone on Pain Gaming turn onto him. And watch Weiser on the top of your screen. He's buying so much space from Shogun and Guri. He doesn't have to get the damage down, just needs to keep them out of the fight, and eventually they're able to flash forward as reinforcements come through, and they'll get Nanoe off the back of us.
Because Weiser was the person earlier on as, yeah, the audience back home absolutely loving it. And PNG, let's come back to it. Mid lane was already ahead, 3-item Tristana, but they've got Baron now as well. They're on Soul Point. The game swings a second time. And what a story for the CBLOL. As VKE now trying to defend their inner turret as Karaoke looks for an angle to see if he catches anyone off guard.
Dinquiedo still pushing in that mid lane, trying to set up a 1-4 here, but Vikings, they've got a lot of wave clear on this bottom side, so Shogun now going to get the reinforcements from BA, but you still have to be careful as Dinquiedo. You don't want to take a step too far forward. I think it's just trying to see if they can buy a window of opportunity to collapse onto the spot side.
All members congressing. The next wave, Curry's trying to fake it out. Do they know it's him? No, Pop Blossom in, it's good enough, and he gets drawn back. Beautiful engage, and an Impale to follow through, but they need the damage. VKE are buying time, and the bullet time will stop them off the inner, but when that dies, there's no defense. VKE pulled back. They've gotten some kind of a trade here, but PNG still open up the turret and give their Baron, their Red Bull Baron, in fact, new meaning.
And that's what I was going to say, like, it's 2 for 2, but the size of that Red Bull Baron power play is growing and growing every step of the way. And Pain, with only 55 seconds left, I'm really going to be able to set up on the map to get more. But this early worked out fantastically for them. Vikings, very lucky that this didn't go a different direction. See Curry again, using that Nico, the Hextech Protobate, to buy space onto Vikings. Karioka coming over the wall, but a great mom coming through as well. Just
she was
the
a good mom. Yeah.
She raised her son well, all right, Smolder, but did a great job there. And it means that Pain Gaming end up trading even when it goes
much like your mother, absolute legend.
She'll appreciate
Is she watching
that.
this?
Probably is, yeah.
I'm sorry I called you Diane. I was watching a TV show, and Denise, I'm sorry. But to the power at hand, you know, again, you talked about it like we're mentioning mums because for Cutty, he had such a good game set up in front of him, but it's drawn back. Dinquiedo has been putting in a performance of a lifetime, and now Chitana's come to show up as well. Curry on this Nico has had some great engages. It's been nice to watch. I mean, look, I could go on forever here about the return of this game. It is only a 2K gold lead. I have to temper my expectations because Dragon's up in 50. And as we've seen around this objective, anything can happen as Equalizer slows down Shogun, but he's out of range.
Yeah, a bit of a wish and pray there as they sent that one out, but doesn't quite work out. I think the big one that they're really hoping for is for Guri to complete this Sonya's Hourglass before they have to try and fight this, but I think he's just going to be a little bit off. Would be nice to have some sort of invulnerability, especially if you end up like Karaoke trying to come through, but with no flash on this Garner, it becomes way less threatening. So I think it's on Curry with his flash to get it, but they're picking him.
Exploit, and he's in. Again, the burst. Cutty gets a kill. Curry caught out, and his flash was available, but now as the defense comes through, because Dinquiedo's trying to pop down the bottom inhibitor turret. He finds his mark, he gets it down, and Cutty's now out. Cutty's out. PNG want to take the rest of the fight. BS slowed down. We get a picture-in-picture because Cutty and Dinquiedo fight it out. He goes in instead, into the Smolder. He wants to take the fight. Cutty can't get out of range and gets destroyed. And he hops over again! Dinquiedo! Absolute hands of steel as he heals up. Shogun's here as well. Looks for more, but will be shut down. The fact he took that 1v1 was psychotic.
Wiser though, trying to get onto Guri. Go to Equalizer.
Impale starts us off on the left. You see the Equalizer. I see an attempted steal, but it's gone. Infernal Soul, Nanoe locked up against the wall. And Pain Gaming are fighting fire with their own flame.
Vikings didn't know whether to look left or right. They were trying to decide how many members needed to deal with Dinquiedo, and they got the math wrong. Pain Gaming, they get the win in the fight. A Dragon Soul, and now the base for Vikings as well.
When death is knocking, I mean, Pain weren't just going to say hello. They told it to get lost, and as they open up yet another inhibitor turret this time, an inhibitor will follow. VKE respawning. It ain't game one yet, but Infernal Soul, that sits with you for a lifetime.
And Baron in 40 seconds as well. They just reset, come back out onto the map. They're going to be in such a dominant position. I mean, the Maw Mormortius just finished for Dinquiedo off the back. Thanks to that gold he just picked up. You're going to pick up a 4th item here for Chitan off as the back of this as well. Crypt Bloom finished for Wiser. You're in such a good spot.
So I'm still remarking at that play bot. Like everyone else would try and run. He's like, nah, I'd win. It went full in. Got the kill, almost got out. But, you know, VKE committing so much to him, Dagda. Hurt the rest of the play, hurt their positioning. As you were saying, VKE, like, what do we do? Where do we go? running them through a muck here as Baron is spawning in 5 seconds. Now this is the next play.
And a lot of the tools that were missing for PNG Gaming are now just up. Flash for Karaoke. Curry didn't have to burn his flash in that last engagement, whereas we look at Kati now, very vulnerable, so you have to make sure you are coming in very carefully to the spaces Vikings. This choke point could spell their death, or it could be great for them if PNG Gaming overextend.
Yeah, has been the one engaging. He's looking for an angle. Nanoe the same as well, but impaled in. Why is it going to crisp him down? And engages all he's got left, but a pop blossom sends him down! VKE don't know what just hit them as PNG Gaming from the brink of despair have brought their frown upside down.
It was a strong early game from PNG Gaming, but Vikings bid their time waiting for items, but it does not matter. The team fighting for pain is bringing the pain to the VCS.
Big step ups. Wiser, you'll get a mention in the after game anyway, but at 33 minutes in an elimination best of 3, there's no minions here to debuff for the time being, but there soon will be. Pain Dagda inflicting the sword on VKE. The next Nexus turret to follow, and Brazil is not out of this world yet.
PNG Gaming showing up clutch here. They looked good against PSG Talent, but just couldn't quite get the win. But now, a domination in the team fights is massive success for the CB Law.
That man right there, a huge performance on the Tristana. And we had so many highlight points for VKE, but then it was just one moment, one snap, and the CB LOL struck. Game 1 over to PNG Gaming. We have to see if VKE can stay alive, because